Well, this appears to be a wee bit problematic. I don't have my wrench, my moderator Sage here, and he's showing as offline in Discord. And I had a great plan to start the stream, so now it's all gone down the fucking tube. Anyways, let's get right to it. We got not a whole lot to go over. I'm not going to give you a comprehensive breakdown of like X's and O's and all that shit. I'm not a former coach of the NFL. I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. We'll talk about some happenings in NFL and then Major League Baseball, and then we'll get the hell out of here. So, unless you live under a rock, Super Bowl 60 will take place tomorrow in Santa Clara, and the Seattle Seahawks will go up against the New England Patriots. They are favored to win by 4.5 points. I have not decided who I like to cover the spread just yet. I do agree that Seattle will win the game. I think that they are better. Well, it's really tough to say if we're being honest here. Like, actually, this game's going to be closer than that 4.5 spread. I actually think. So I think I'd probably let's go New England to cover because New England's done pretty well this year. I think the only problem they might have is on the defensive line. I think that the Seahawks have a better defensive line for getting after the quarterback. They're good at all three levels too, so I'm not really confident in how Drake May is going to perform. He has not been good in the playoffs, and this is a team that's probably not as good as Houston, that's for sure. But probably not as good as Denver on defense, but they're right up there. And he was absolutely lousy in those games. So that's my big question mark is Drake May. When you kind of put Drake May up against Sam Darnold, I would say I like Drake May more. But at this stage, do I like him more? I really don't know. I mean, it's going to be he could be like a doe in the headlights tomorrow. Or maybe he'll step in and do something absolutely crazy. I think, obviously, the big match always starts with the quarterbacks, and it's really going to come down to turnovers. I think Darnold can still have one or two turnovers, and they could still win this game. Whereas I think if, Drake May has two turnovers, the game is probably over. So I like Drake May as a quarterback more than Sam Darnold, don't get me wrong. But I think Sam Darnold's been pretty battle tested this year up against some good teams. NFC's a lot better. I just don't see Sam Darnold having a colossal collapse tomorrow. I do apologize, Sage, but I did start the stream early because you were showing offline on Discord. I had messaged you. I said off to the races, Sage, at 12:05 Eastern Standard Time. Then I said, let's go, mate. And then I said at El Pufferino, because I was actually going to start the stream off with a Tourette's guy quote. The Tourette's guy quote was going to be, pissing out the window and shitting out the window are two different things. That's what I was going to start the stream with. And you kind of butchered it, man. You kind of butchered it. Now I'm throwing that out in the middle of our Super Bowl preview, and people are going to be like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So thanks, Sage. You really fucked it up. But at least I do have a Platinum Wrench moderator here. So, in case things get dirty down in the trenches, I've got my wrenches, right? I'm just kind of talking about the quarterback matchup tomorrow. Drake May's better, more talented, potentially going to have a Hall of Fame career. And I think Sam Darnold, though, at this point, I don't think he's going to make any terrible mistakes. I think Kubiak has schemed him up pretty good. So I think Sam Darnold will have a pretty good game tomorrow. Before we move on, got a couple comments here. Whoa. Where is my wrench? My phone shows a damn fucking shield. Well, that is what I would consider to be a great question. Did they remarket it? Because, I'm seeing a blue shield right now. It's like a blue shield, almost like you're some sort of antivirus protection now. It's a little bit interesting there, Sage. I did not do this, I swear. Just because you were late, I did not. I did not do this. I know what the fucking fuck. I thought the exact same thing. All right, let's kind of get to the next thing here, and that's going to kind of be the wide receiver matchup. So I mean, obviously the best wide receiver between these two teams is going to be Jackson Smith and Jigba, who just won Offensive Player of the Year. That's going to be a tough guy to cover, but you know, New England does have a guy on the other side that potentially could, you know, negate him a little bit in Christian Gonzalez. I think second-year player, high-end draft pick. So it'll be interesting to watch that matchup and what they do to, you know, bracket him and, you know, blanket him and all that good shit. So we'll see what happens with Jackson Smith and Jigba. A Cooper Kupp, definitely going to look for him and Rashid Shaheed to do some work. You're going to need A.J. Barner to kind of put some yards up on the board as well, get a couple first downs there. So I would say, when you look at New England, I mean, they're pretty good wide receiver, but they're kind of spread all over the place, right? Like, you get Stephon Diggs, who is good, Mac Hollins, you get Demario Douglas, Kyle Williams, Kayshon Boutte. You got a lot of good little options. Like, none of them are bad options, but none of them are like even close to 1,800 yards. Like, most of them are like 400, 500-yard receivers, that sort of thing, right? So because of that, I'm going to have to say that, you know, the Seahawks have the better wide receiving core. Tight end, I'm definitely going to say that New England's a bit better. Hunter Henry had a better year than A.J. Barner, so I'll give them the nod there, though A.J. Barner had like 516 yards, so he's not exactly terrible. Offensive line, I mean, Will Campbell was a standout this year in his first season. You got Garrett Bradbury, so you got some pretty good guys on the offensive line. Don't think Morgan Moses is particularly that good anymore. I would probably have to say, without knowing much about these offensive lines, that, Gray Zabel is a beast, for one. And for two, I'm just going to say, I think the Seahawks are a little bit better in the trenches there. In terms of defensive line, I mean, I don't think that New England is going to be getting after Sam Darnold if they're just rushing four. I would suspect that they're going to be pretty good at stuffing the run. And in stuffing the run, they're going to have to go up against Kenneth Walker as well as Zach Charbonnet. And I think they can have some success there. They were one of the better teams in the league at stuffing the run. I give the running backs a little bit of the edge to New England. Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson, I kind of like what they do a bit more overall. But again, it's kind of tough to say because Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet are pretty damn good as well. I'd actually say the running backs are about a tie, maybe slightly in New England's favor, but I'm going to call it a tie. I'm not really sure, to be honest. What else do we got for matchups here? I just like the defense a lot more for, like, Spillane's good, but I really feel like that motherfucker from Tennessee, Ernest Jones, is better. You know, if we're talking middle linebackers, I really like Jones more. I like the secondary of the Patriots, but I like the Seahawks more. The Seahawks have Kobe Bryant, Julian Love, Nick Emenware if he plays. I'm not sure if he does. Devin Witherspoon, Josh Joby, Reek Woolen. Like, they've got some guys that can play. So I just feel like overall the talent is richer in Seattle. They've played tougher competition all year. They'll win a close one, and then actually, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure about the 4.5. I don't think anyone really cares about who covers the spread unless you're betting on it. I have no idea who's going to cover the spread. This game could be a big blowout in favor of Seattle, or I could see it being a close game. I'll say it's kind of a Super Bowl that I'm just indifferent to it. I'm not mad either way. I don't have any dog in the fight. It's kind of an indifferent Super Bowl where it's just like, I kind of don't give a shit who wins, if I'm being completely honest to you. With that said, whoever's in here, drop a comment and let me know who you think is going to win tomorrow. Just want to see your opinion there, especially my lead wrench, the Platinum Wrench, who had a few comments to say. After what the fucking fuck, he said, end the stream now. We're not going to do that. We will end the stream in about 9 minutes. And we are saying we are relocating to kick. Not really sure what that means. If that's a threat against me, I will kick your fucking ass. That's all I have to say. So, Sage, who's winning? What is the spread? Do you think that the Patriots will keep it within 5, or do you think it'll be more than 5? I think they can keep it within 5. I think they're good enough at all 3 levels on defense to keep it within 5. Maybe they can force a fumble. Just don't think they're going to get after Sam Darnold's ass enough. So that's my opinion. We've got Sage saying, I hope they both lose honestly. That would be very interesting. That would be a very interesting Super Bowl. Sage says, you won't catch me watching. That's for sure. Wow, Sage really showing a lot of spicy jalapeno Dorito type of flavoring tonight, I would say, for sure. All right, let's get to some more NFL news, and then we'll go to the baseball news to kind of close out. Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator, formerly, I should say, of the Cleveland Browns, has resigned. He's going to sit out a year before, latching on with someone else. So he's pissed off. He wanted that head coach position, did not get it, and he said, I'm fucking out. Fuck you, Todd Monken, his exact words. Kind of an interesting hire for the Rams. I don't know the exact job that Cliff Kingsbury is going to have, but he was hired to the Rams offensive staff. And I'm going to say that's a pretty damn good hire to have, not even as their like offensive coordinator, just like one of their underlings, basically, right? So he's shown that he can be a good offensive coordinator. I'm not saying he's been a good head coach, but does have head coaching experience. So I like the hire for the LA Rams there. You got Adam Schefter reporting that the Falcons are expected to release Kirk Cousins ahead of the new year. And that's basically it. He's going to be fucking fired, apparently. Now, this is where it gets very, very, very interesting. Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson have been pretty critical of J.J. McCarthy's performance, and it is widely believed that the Vikings are going to look to acquire a veteran quarterback this offseason. They let Sam Darnold go last year after a 14-win season, and I think they had some interest in Aaron Rodgers, but never pulled the trigger because the GM was in on his, first-round draft pick, that sort of thing. I think you're going to see a couple guys that are going to be rumored that is going to be very interesting. You might have the complete Brett Favre happen again for the Packers. You might see Aaron Rodgers go to the Vikings. I could actually see that. I'd say Rodgers is going to the Vikings or the Steelers. I guarantee he will play next year. I guarantee it. I'd say right now Pittsburgh has a bit of an edge just because of, McCarthy. Kirk Cousins would be an interesting guy to bring back, I suppose. But at the end of the day, apparently he might be interested in just doing commentary and that sort of thing. So it really depends kind of where his heart is at. And lastly, there could be a trade for Mac Jones, potentially, with the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are going to let go of him, though, given that he played pretty good ball last year, and, Brock Purdy kind of was banged up for a while, and he was pretty damn good in his absence. The only other guy is that bug-eyed fuck. Who's that bug-eyed fuck out there in Indianapolis? The starter for Indianapolis. Danny, I want to say Danny Foles, but it's not Danny Foles. Who's that? Danny Jones, sorry, Danny Jones. I believe he is a free agent this year. He was with the Vikings, so that would be another guy, if he's only on a one-year deal, that I would expect to see potentially suit up with the Minnesota Vikings as well. So it'll be kind of interesting to see there. Now, AJ Brown was on the Micah Parsons The Edge podcast. Says he's very excited, for next season, and basically said he's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. The reason being is if you kind of look at the financial implications of trading AJ Brown, there's a $72.5 million dead cap charge if AJ Brown is moved from the current contract. Now, if they wait until a year from now, it's going to be, it'll be just $27.1 million in dead cap remaining on his contract there. So he's not going anywhere, no matter how much he hates his fucking life in the city of brotherly love. Just seeing here if we got any more football going on, and we do got some news. We've got this James Pierce acting like a goddamn fool. First round pick for the Falcons this year. Played a hell of a season. Had character concerns coming into the draft. Well, he's in a little bit of trouble. Believe he's been charged with aggravated assault, stalking, domestic violence. He fled from the cops as well. Basically, his ex-girlfriend was going to the cops to be a little tattletale, apparently. And this is, just what I've heard, from around the workshop over here. And he took his Ferrari and banged into her car multiple times to prevent her from going to the police. So James Pierce in a lot of trouble. I don't know what that's going to carry in terms of sentencing, but I wouldn't say it's probably going to be too favorable for James Pierce. And if you're an Atlanta Falcons fan right now, you're just saying, fuck. We had a fucking stud, and now, we might not have him for 3 or 4 years. His motherfucker's going to jail. Son of a bitch going to jail. So, you had a good run, son. But you can't be banging other people's cars with your goddamn Ferrari multiple times. Cannot stress that enough. Cannot do that. Will not do that. Unless you get away with it. Then it's a different thing. So I believe this will bring us around full circle to some baseball shit that's taken place yesterday and today. The New York Yankees, fucking clowns, have signed free agent Paul Goldschmidt to a 1-year deal. Interesting thing for him is, there's a few interesting things, so I'll just fucking throw it down. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, not a very good hitter anymore. He's not what he used to be. He used to be amazing. I used to love Paul Goldschmidt when he was with Arizona. Now he is not a bad platoon player to have at first base, so he will platoon with Ben Rice, who's obviously a left-handed hitter, and I think that'll formulate an okay platoon. I do think his numbers will go down this season, even in the platoon role. It's kind of funny because they were, the New York Yankees were basically stating that, Ben Rice was going to face off against both sides. Well, this signing obviously says that the Yankees are cowards, liars, and just goddamn fucking peons, essentially. The Oakland Athletics made a signing. Not a great signing, not a terrible signing. Scott Barlow coming to town on a 1-year, $2 million deal. 33 years old. Typically, in the 4.2 to 4.4 ERA range, the last 3 years running. So you're kind of just getting just a little stopgap guy, a little middle reliever there. Nothing that bad. Blue Jays did sign left-handed pitcher Josh Fleming, formerly of the Rays. A depth signing, so it's a minor league deal. They also signed 2 other pitchers, Tanner Andrews and Nate Garko, to the minor leagues. It's just depth. There's no need for all you fucking idiots out there that get upset about fucking people that are signed to minor league deals to get upset. It's just called depth signings, and there's no fucking need to freak out whatsoever. Of those, I think Josh Fleming has the most upside. Now, this is a guy that is a former Jay who was released by the LA Dodgers yesterday. Anthony Banda. A couple years ago, he was a Jay. I think we got him from Pittsburgh. And you know what? I I don't know if this guy becomes a free agent. Let me just. So the Dodgers needed a roster spot for Ben Rortvedt, a $1.65 million contract. Okay, so you're not going to get him on a minor league deal, so I don't necessarily think the Jays will be in on him. Some teams should claim him though. He had a 3.18 ERA last year in 65 innings. He's a left-hander, and he can hit, 95, 96, 97. So a guy I wouldn't mind the Jays going after, but if he has to be guaranteed an MLB spot, then I'm not necessarily going to be for that. Finally, the only thing I know is that Isaac Paredes is supposed to be like garnering interest from the Red Sox, the Pirates, among, I don't know, 5 fucking total teams. They don't really say. I don't really care. I think Paredes is kind of fucking overrated, if you ask me. And who the fuck cares about Paredes? We're just gonna do one more little sweep of the harbor, and we're gonna see if I missed anything. I doubt I did. I'm pretty much on the fucking ball. Oh, I did miss one thing. God damn it. But this one we might have already talked about. George Pickens. He'll be franchise tagged by Dallas. So anyone out there who is hoping to obtain George Pickens, it's not going to happen, essentially. And we also missed Terrence Gore passing away earlier today. Former, I don't know, guy that couldn't hit, super speedster, ran a 4.29 40. What was in the World Series 2015, 2020, and 2021 as a very weird player. Because he couldn't hit. He was literally just a guy that would come in and pinch run. So apparently he had some sort of complications while he was having a surgery, and that's it for him. He kicked the bucket, as they say. Just seeing what else we got here. I do want to read a little bit more about James Pierce, just because I think that's kind of crazy. How long ago was this that they posted it? Nah, Roto World's behind. They're behind, obviously. They were saying jail sentence just when there was a crash following a police chase. It's a lot worse than just a police chase. So, yeah, I don't know. James Pierce's his NFL career is probably done. I would assume there. There's footage. Oh, geez, looks like there's a footage of him in a scuffle with the police as well. So, yeah, I might check that out after the stream as well. But, yeah, nothing else to say. Let's get the hell out of here after I read the following messages that were left. Sage says, dead cap is kind of stupid for a trade. I'm not sure. I think that there should be a way to offset it a little bit. Now, I'm sure there is some sort of gymnastics you can do. But yeah, I'd like it to be a bit more like, okay, 72 million, like, okay, maybe if you can't offset all of it, you should be able to negotiate a little bit, especially if you're working with a team who has a ton of salary cap space, that sort of thing. So yeah, it is kind of weird. I'd have to think about that one. I know it used to piss me off in Madden when I used to make a lot of trades because I'd be literally getting low cap hits. So I'd trade players for lower caps, thinking I was managing my cap well, trading all my draft picks away, and then after a year or two, I'd be in cap hell, and there was nothing I could do to get out of it. So I might agree with Sage on that one. Sage says a release makes sense, but trades should not carry any dead weight. I'll think about that and get back to you. Yeah, it makes kind of sense. Like a cut is a cut, right? But somebody wanted that player and we're willing to pay for him. So it would kind of make sense if you just kind of got rid of that, altogether and just... It gets weird, because you're not talking just straight contracts like other sports, right? Like all the other sports, I think, are all guaranteed money. In football, it's, you've got a certain amount guaranteed and then a total amount, right? So a lot of these contracts are fucking fake for gazies in the end anyways, right? So it is a bit different compared to other sports. But there's always ways around it. Look at the New Orleans Saints when they'd be $80 million over cap every year, and they somehow found a way to just keep pushing that money down the fucking line. You know what I mean? All right, we do have... Sage says, I don't like NFL contracts. I kind of like that you're not guaranteeing money in case there's an injury. Like, you're guaranteeing a certain amount, but I do like that there's outs at certain points, in my opinion, because it does prevent like a calamity. You know what I mean? Like, what if you signed like a fucking quarterback to like a $300 million deal? They literally break their fucking neck and they never play again. Yeah, restructuring deals is fine. Other than that, they're weird. Yeah, it is weird how they can just... The void... I think the void stuff is the weirdest to me. You know, the void years, I don't necessarily like it. It's like, okay, I'm going to pay you money not to be here for 4 years after your contract is done. It just seems weird even just to think or say out loud. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure. I think other sports might be doing that a bit more. Sage says the NHL should have restructures. Well, you can call Gary. Give old Gary Bettman a ring and let him know what's up there, Sage. Oh, and I think it's confirmed Anthony Davis is sitting out this year so he can be ready for 2026, 2027. So the Wizards just made a terrible trade for Anthony Davis, and they're not going to get him at all. And I think they knew there were some repercussions prior to making the trade. So just kind of a funny little story there, I would say. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow. I think we covered everything perfectly. I'd give myself a 12 out of a 10. And we'll see you guys after the Super Bowl. But before we get to the Super Bowl, check us out, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, Indie Game Cloud on YouTube. Have a good night. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.